Okay, welcome back. This is session 7 of the Pillars of Eternity Lorethrough, being recorded on June 3rd, 2023. Last session, we met Merwald, which is where we are now. So we went to Caed, which is our stronghold. We added Kana to our party, the chanter, the Amawa chanter, and then we spoke to Merwald. The conversation that we had with Merwald was very intense, I guess, and there's a lot going on with him. He is a watcher like us, but he seemed to have lost his mind, gone insane from just having so many souls within his body. So I wanted to, before we actually started playing today, I wanted to go over again what a watcher is so we can try and unpack what exactly is happening, well, was happening with Merwald. Merwald is dead now because he attacked us at the end of that conversation. So let's go and take a look at what a watcher is. So I think I may have read some of this before in a previous session, but I think it's important to re-examine what's going on here and the differences and connection between awakening, what's called awakening, and what's called watchers. So this is from the Souls and Reincarnation part of the Collector's Book. So just a little bit about awakening here. When a person becomes aware of one or more of his or her past lives, the experience is known as an awakening. The experience can be cathartic, traumatic, or simply confusing, depending on what information surfaces and the manner in which it is brought about. Early symptoms of a soul's awakening can include post-cognitive visions and the intrusion of foreign memories or emotions. In rare instances, the presence of a former personality might compel a person to act in an uncharacteristic fashion or complete some objective left unfulfilled in life. So because souls are very real in this world, and because souls kind of leave bodies and enter new bodies, which is called the wheel, that means that you have a soul in your body that has experienced past lives. So what an awakening is you suddenly become aware of those past lives, or a past life at least, maybe multiple, that soul has experienced. And that's what's happening with Aloth. That's why every once in a while, Aloth, we hear a person speaking in a different accent, much ruder than Aloth is. That's what's happening with Alex. Aloth. He has had a soul that has been awakened in him. And then this is about watchers here. There also exist certain unique individuals, typically referred to as watchers. That's us. We are a watcher. Merwald also was a watcher, who, either through freak accidents or the proddings of animancy, are able to remember the way that they perceived the world just before passing beyond the shroud. They can see and detect wayward souls in the world, and in some cases commune with them, which is why we were able to speak with the woman that was hanging from the tree, the dwarven animancer woman that was hanging from the tree. They can see and detect wayward souls in the world, and in some cases commune with them. Watchers possess the mental fortitude to access the soul memory of others, extending sometimes several lives into the past. So watchers can not only see the life of the current soul that inhabits the body, but they can access the lives that these souls have been a part of even before that body. So they can go back further and further and further. And that is important, so I wanted to make sure I pointed that out. And often either lend assistance in the crises of the self or such crises to their own advantage. They can also unlock latent personalities and interpret the seemingly indecipherable meaning of visions glimpsed from beyond. Lost souls who otherwise navigate the world in blindness see watchers as beacons of light and hope. Among watchers, it is common for souls to trail in their wake like an ethereal caravan. Awakening is a frequent hazard among watchers. In other words, this awakening, which is what Aloth experienced, is something that happens often with watchers because of their connection with the soul world, with souls of previous lives. Because of their attunement to the ethereal realm, deep and vivid consciousness of their own souls is often inadvertently triggered, and it is not uncommon for the Watcher to project such powerful visions into the real world as visible manifestations. As a consequence, elaborate delusions have been known to coalesce and drive Watchers to madhouses or even early graves. So the reason I wanted to read that is because that is very clearly what is happening to Meyerwald, or what was happening to Meyerwald. He had souls that awakened within him as a Watcher that had a huge effect on his mental health. I want to say he had 3 different souls that had awakened in him. There was, and we saw these spirits as we were exploring Caed. These spirits, there was a mother who lost a husband in the Broken Stone War, who encouraged her son, who is another soul that was there, her son to take revenge on the Glanfathans and fought in the War of the Black Trees. And there was a third there too, which I think was a Glanfathan captain or something who had raped this woman, or at least gave the orders to rape this woman, and the child was a product of that rape. The child who eventually fought in the War of the Black Trees. I think I got all that right. So there were 3 different souls that had awakened within the Watcher Meyerwald, and they just drove him to madness, basically. It wasn't just that they were souls; they were souls that were in conflict with each other. So it just caused Meyerwald to go pretty crazy in the end, and that's why he attacked us, and that's what's going on with him. And at some point, he kept this place that we are in now, Caed, in good condition. He had people that worked here and everything like that, but over time, as he lost his sanity, he let things fall into disrepair. He stopped worrying about it. People left, and that's why Caed is the way it is now. I'd love to hear, especially about this. I don't know if I got everything right there. This is a very complicated thing that has happened to Meyerwald, and there's a lot going on here with the previous souls and everything like that. So it's very likely that I got something wrong, but I think at least the basic outline of what's happening with Meyerwald is very clear here, that he is a Watcher who, because he was a Watcher, because of his connection with the ethereal realm and souls, several souls awakened within him, and because those souls were in conflict, his mind was also in conflict, and that's what happened with Meyerwald here. So tragic, but from a video game playing perspective and a lore perspective, extremely interesting. Okay, so I don't know. I think I want to explore a little bit more down here and fight some things before we go back up and talk to the steward, the statue in the throne room.
All right then.
Oh, these beetles are back? Okay.
How may I help?
That's it!
That worries me. I thought I had killed everything down here. Maybe I was wrong, though. Oh well.
All right then.
This, I believe, was closed off before. Oh no, this is the one that's closed off. Oh, so maybe I didn't go down here before. Some looters, a gold packed knight. We've gone over the different I can't remember what they're called for paladins. They belong to the orders. Gold pact is one of those orders. And then we have a bunch of looters here. They just attack us. Oof. Oh, Aloth is down. That looter went right for him. These guys are much tougher than I thought that they were going to be. Okay, so we're gonna load a previous save here. Because I don't think we're ready to take those people on just yet. Either that or I was just playing horribly.
Of course.
But delete this next part. I'm going to change the settings just because the sound is really loud to me. Okay. I am ready to continue going now.
Aye, you're right. No sense listening to that old bampot. Damned Virago, not now!
Virago, I wonder what that means. That was Aloth's awakened soul speaking out loud. Let's talk with the steward.
I felt Merwald's passing. You slew him.
He gave me no choice. Or should I say several of him? I'll say gave me no choice.
It saddens me to hear it. But part of me is grateful to no longer have to wait and worry in darkness. This place has always known its master, long as it's had one. It has a will all its own, which has little to do with the castle and much to do with the land it's built on. It looks to you as Merwald's successor now, whether you care for it or not. A dubious honor, inheriting a fortress both broken and cursed. But in the right hands, it could be so much more. If you had only seen it in its day. Will you stay?
Merwald said that I must go to the City of Defiance in search of the Queen. The energy seems all at once to drain from the air. I see. If it's Defiance Bay you seek, I'm sorry to tell you that you've come a long way for nothing. The Eastern Barbican collapsed decades ago, and Merwald never got around to rebuilding it. The road here is a dead end. He got as far as gathering materials before his mind became preoccupied. I could make arrangements to have it repaired if it is your will. When it ceased to be the previous master's will, I became powerless to do anything about it. For what am I but the master's instrument? It would take time, but far less than finding another route to Defiance Bay. What does being the master of Caed entail? Seemed like I made her sad when I said that I need to go to Defiance Bay, but I can still obviously inherit the stronghold. Why, there are many responsibilities involved in maintaining a keep. The extent to which you wish to get involved is entirely up to you, of course. Part of the reason I'm here is to ensure that things run smoothly in your absence, provided we have been given instruction. If you instruct me on which repairs you wish to conduct next, I will make necessary arrangements. These may take some time to finish, but each will provide you with additional resources once they are complete. Given somewhere to place them, we can hire tradesmen to provide you with supplies or ingredients. Repairing the keep will raise your prestige, and draw both helpful individuals and unwelcome attention from bandits and opportunists. If we can raise the keep's security in turn, these will become of less concern. You should know, however, that the position does come with some risk. Your name will grow in fame, and you must contend with threats to the keep. And then there are other things. Was there anything else, my lord? What did you mean when you said this keep was cursed? Marwald's curse was his own, a watcher's curse, but his predecessors have not fared better. There is a presence within the keep, or rather far beneath it. At least, such has been the conclusion drawn by all who have come to this place, for what spirits still linger in the endless paths oft speak of a master below. Every effort to settle here has failed, from the time of our Adirian colonists onward. Beasts rise from the endless paths until the new lord or lady is no more. The one who dwells below, this master, does not tolerate rivals, it seems. I have seen, from time to time, intrepid explorers descend to lay claim on what answers they can, but none return. This was the force which has kept Caed a barren ruin and robbed me of my hopes. Kana says, "The endless paths, that, my friend, is where I must go, where we must go if you will go with me. Whatever devils lie beneath, think too what knowledge we will find. Perhaps this master speaks Adirian." Remember, he's looking for an old text of some sort, and now he thinks that's where it is. So now I have questions about the endless paths. What are the endless paths? The endless paths of Adnua. That is the name given to the labyrinth beneath the keep. The Earl, we were warned by the Glenfathans that this site was cursed, and there is a legend attached to it, though at the time we thought nothing of it. So maybe there are some kind of Ingwithan ruins beneath this keep. The ruins were built, it is said, by a powerful Ingwithan, there we go, named Adnua, who ruled there until his people turned against him. They destroyed his endless paths and filled many of the upper tunnels with soil and stone. No one living knows how far down the tunnels stretch, and few who have ventured there have returned. There is much talk of riches and treasure, and promise of Ingwithan relics alone has drawn many fortune-seekers. To their deaths, I fear. Who is this master below? I could not say with any certainty. I believe it must be tied to the man said to have been the architect of the endless paths, the Ingwithan tyrant Adnua. Some claim his spirit endures, or at least has laid a curse upon this site. I cannot imagine much remains of his work, for the ruins have been here for 1,000 years or more, but what is left is impressive. The Earl certainly thought so. You may have seen, while below, the hand of the great statue Adnua constructed. Perhaps it is a statue of Adnua himself. But am I not the master of Caed? Of course you are. The keep would have no other, but the endless paths are a different thing entirely. It is unfortunate, really, that they are so closely entwined. So the endless paths are something that is below the keep of Caed. I don't think I've actually accepted it yet, but I will be the master of Caed. But that doesn't mean I'm the master of the rooms below. That is still the man Adnua, who built the ruins below and was building a statue of sorts, which we will see later. If the master below is not dealt with, there will always be the threat of a keep from within. I know it is much to take in, but if you would remain, if you would be lord of this place, then I can only advise you to seek out this foe before it destroys you. I have other questions. Yes, how can I help? How do I repair this barbican? Marwald set aside materials for the barbican, and they are still available to you. In the future, if you wish to make further repairs to the keep, we will need coin for supplies and labor. So now I leave. Time to find this queen in the city of Defiance. You must know, this queen you are looking for. Defiance Bay has no queen. The Mequins, gonna look that up, of Edir haven't reigned there since the war. The only queen with any power there is Woodica. I am told they erected an exquisite temple in her honor there, but I was never able to see it. So Woodica, one of the goddesses, I believe we read about her in session 2 when we saw the machine that maybe was creating the Beowix, and we talked about her. So I got some experience there. If you mean to go there, we can get started right away on repairing the Barbican. You need only tell me what you wish to do, and I'll make the necessary arrangements. Merwald kept a ledger as it happens, and I have taken the liberty of updating it. You can take a look if you wish. Let me see what repairs I can make. Then we'll get underway at once. The steward's voice belies a giddy excitement, so the steward is very happy that we have decided to be the new keep master. No, my lord, this is but the first and least of a great many undertakings. The keep supported a great many buildings and servants for many years. If you should wish it, we can repair some of the outlying structures, and these will bring you wealth and recognition, drawing people to your service. Rebuilding the defenses will keep your ground from becoming overrun, as they did under Merwald's keeping. You need not choose all at once. I am pledged to your aid, and so long as you are master here, we shall always be linked. You need not step upon these grounds to speak with me. Wherever your travels may take you, you can make your will known to me, if you but reach out. Oh, but first, of course, the Barbican. So this is the free one. This right here is the list of upgrades I can make to the stronghold. You'll see each one has a cost in both money and time, and a lot of them say they require other things to actually purchase. So now that I am master of this keep, I can choose to make these repairs. And as the steward said at the end, I don't actually have to be here to order these repairs. This is just a menu that I can open. So let's purchase the Eastern Barbican. And it's already been completed. So that was the path that was blocked before that I noted last session. I like having... It only takes 2 days for Bright Hollow Restoration, which is a place that I can rest. I'll do the main keep after that. But right now I want to repair this place. So it says finish in 2 days. I can only have one thing at a time here. Okay, so a lot from the Steward of Cadnua. We learned about the endless paths below this place. And we learned that Merwald at one point kept this place up and he let it fall into disrepair. So now it's up to us to bring it back to its former glory. We have a new quest, The Master Below. And this is just talking about the endless paths and the Master Adnua who built them. Never far from the Queen, Merwald has told me that I might find the leaden key in the city of Defiance, never far from the Queen. It is there I must go if I am to track down the man who triggered my awakening. So the man who triggered my awakening was that man way back in session 2 at the machine that ripped the souls from the bodies. And this queen here is talking about Woodica, not an actual queen of Defiance Bay, but Woodica the goddess. It says, go to the temple of Woodica. I learned from Merwald that members of the Leaden Key tend to worship Woodica, and the steward had mentioned that there is a temple dedicated to Woodica in Defiance Bay. Oh, looks like we can talk with Kana.
Confess, I was hoping our meeting with Merwald would go a little differently. But then, you have gained an entire keep. I don't think I've seen anyone inherit land that quickly since Caed the Younger read her father's will.
I wish I could have gotten through to him. He was far gone, but don't worry, says Kana. The past is there that we might learn from it. I'm sure we'll find more answers in Defiance Bay.
It will give you a base from which to go searching at least. And then, there are secrets beneath the keep yet. With you at the helm, it should be easier to explore the endless paths.
Bit just like your breeches, scholar lad.
I beg your pardon?
Nothing. I said nothing.
That old watcher. I don't know what I expected, but it sure wasn't that.
You said you had some things you wanted to ask him.
Nah, it's kind of embarrassing now. I just got a dumb idea in my head is all. Don't know why I thought it'd work. That's funny. That's probably the first thing I got my hopes up for in, I don't know, years. At least I got that out of it.
There's no need to be embarrassed. I won't judge.
All right. Yes, fair is fair, and you did bring me to see him. Those rumors back in Gilded Vale about my brother, Woden, about how he'd turned against us and fought for Widewind, been on my mind for some time now. The thing about Woden was, he always knew what was right, and that's what he'd do. One day he set out to fight for Deerwood against a man claiming to be our god. So I knew that's what I had to do too. It was right. But hearing claims that he died fighting for Caed, that got me worried. Not that he'd chosen the wrong side, but that I had. Didn't seem right what Widewind had in store, but if he really was Aethys.
So Widewind is the saint whose body Aethys took over. And it seems like Adir's brother Woden fought for the Glenfathins in Caed, whereas Adir fought for the Adiran Empire. And he wants to find more about his brother, so he's kind of questioning his choice at this point, who he was fighting for.
I thought, maybe this old watcher would know how my brother died. So I could see if it was true. Like he could, I don't know, read it in my soul or something. Use our connection. Told you it was dumb.
Why didn't you ask me for help? Guess because I didn't know you. It's hard to trust a stranger that says he's Watcher. Although he was willing to trust Merwald, I guess.
Of course, I knew the truth deep down. The Watcher's not psychic. I think I just had this idea, and the idea made me feel a certain way, and I didn't want to lose that.
Really, if I wanted to find out about my brother, I shouldn't be starting with Watchers. I should be starting with records. So why don't you? Adir thinks a moment, his lips twisted to one side. He raises his eyebrows. If there was anything written down about it, they'd have it in Defiance Bay. They got an archive at that palace.
You've done a lot for me already, but if you could see fit to pay that archive a visit with me, well, you know. Knowing my luck, the records clerk will go crazy and try to kill me. I'd feel better with you in there with me.
Alright, so we have a new quest for Adir. We've learned that he's looking for what happened to his brother, and he's questioning his own choice to keep fighting for the Adiran Empire rather than Caed. Aloth seems lost in thought. He flinches when you draw near, sucking a sharp breath through his teeth.
What can I do for you?
Are you alright?
Of course. Merely processing some of the unusual things we've seen lately. And if Merwald is to be believed, it would seem you've an uncertain future ahead.
My situation is more dire than I realized. We've got to find this leaden key, and fast.
That does seem like the logical course of action. I shall follow your lead.
What other options do I have to discuss with him? Let's say, how long were you in Gilded Vale? He shrugs, fidgeting with the hem of his sleeve. Not much longer than you. As you saw, it was hardly the haven that had been advertised. Allah looks at you with quiet attentiveness. How may I be of service? Tell me about Adir. I've been gone for more than a year now, but I suspect I'll always think of the forests and fields of Adir as home. We've thousands of years of history and tradition behind us, and there's a sense of dignity and responsibility that comes with that. He frowns. Of course there's baggage as well. Our Imperial past is still fresh in the minds of many, as you may have noticed. Has it been difficult to adjust to the Dyrwood? People here are informal, hot-blooded. His mouth twists into a wry smirk, more attentive to insult than to duty. But as long as one avoids provocation, it's easy enough to get along. He steeples his fingers. I've gotten accustomed enough to keep my thoughts to myself anyway. That's all. Yeah, that's not restored yet, so let's, so this Barbican is open now, which means we can leave. I don't know if I want to actually go to Defiance Bay yet. Because so now I can go to the Wood End Plains. Yeah, that's why, because I didn't go to this bridge yet because I didn't want to go to Caed yet, but I think this bridge is actually uncrossable. So let's go there first. Attacked by a Zorb right away. More Zerps. To Troll. We've read Troll. Yeah, we can see the growths of fungi off him and everything. Looks like a wood troll. Just wanted to see who this affects. Let's just target.
All right then.
Some Adra. I think we read this. An organic material, crystalline in structure but shell-like in substance, Adra can be found growing up through the grounds in veins of many parts of Eora. Easy to carve and manipulate, it is a favorite of jewelers and a semi-precious stone, and is often cut more intricately and beautifully than other gems. Doesn't say anything about its other properties, so I wonder if that's something that we're not supposed to know yet. Maggots squirm amidst the deer's entrails. Ooh, thanks, game. Looter down there. Damn looters can't be bothered to find an honest wage. This is Peregrine. Curse my luck, the woman mutters, kicking her foot into the ground and upturning a clod of soil. As you approach, her ears twitch, and she turns to greet you. Hail, traveler, she says with a half-hearted hand wave. The bridge to Defiance Bay is out. If that's where you're headed, you'll need to find another route. So yes, I was right. This is uncrossable right now. What destroyed the bridge? The river has been rising on account of all the storms. Here, where the river narrows, the flooding did the most damage. The Orlan woman folds her arms, a scowl overtaking her face. Guess they don't make things that last around here, do they? One of the stone columns collapsed in a flash flood, taking the whole middle section of the bridge out to sea. So the bridge was destroyed by some kind of storm and flooding damage. Also, this is an Orlan woman. We're going to go into what an Orlan is, but this is basically very similar to like a halfling type race in this world. But I think that there is a companion that we'll meet later that's Orlan, so we'll go over more about Orlans when we actually meet that person. Madhmr Bridge, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, was the most direct route from Gilded Vale to Defiance Bay. Merchants and travelers now have to find boat passage or add days of extra travel to loop around the bay. So I started a ferry service, thinking I'd earn some coin and help others cross over the bay. Peregrine shakes her head, her eyes twitching as she speaks. And that was a bigger mistake than that time I allowed a cipher to court me. Where a cipher? Bjarthur, I mean. Mistake, how so? Or how do I get... Mistake, how so? I'd been attempting to turn a quick copper, but she bites her lip, her face turning flush with anger. Just my luck. The blasted currents threw my ferry into the rocks, dashed it and my profits to pieces. Making matters worse, when I went to prowl the shore to salvage whatever shipping crates didn't sink, a pair of looters attacked us. She stomps her foot into the ground. The damned brigands had the nerve to attack. I managed to avoid harm, but now they've stolen by force all that is left of my fortune. She eyes you for a long second, her hand cupping her chin. You know, you look like you'd fare better against those looters than little old me. Could I enlist your help? I will take a look. Peregrine smiles wide, her ears perking up. Thank you. I'm sure those thugs have made a mess of my stock, but maybe there's something there to be saved. How do I get to Defiance Bay? Kind of already know that. I'm not going to ask that. I wouldn't ask that. New task, Ferry Flotsam. I met a merchant named Peregrine. She was located not far from the ruined Madhmr Bridge. So that's just saying what she said. She got attacked by looters after her ferry... I want to say crashed, but I don't think that's the right word for a ferry. Bloodstone. I believe I've read that already. Some kind of camp here, maybe the Zorb camp. I have camping supplies. Can I take them? So I can't take them, which means... Oh, wait. Does he use hatchets? So first I'm going to... I believe Bjarthur. Nope, he's using a sword. Oh, he's using that Whispers of Yenwood sword, so never mind. And then I'm going to use one of these camping supplies since there's an extra one there. I want to give it endurance. Oh, okay. Automatically goes to stash. So we'll see here that because this bridge is out, this river is what we need to cross, but there is no other way into Defiance Bay except after we cross this other river, which is why we need to open the Eastern Barbican in Caed Nua. We can come down here, go to Woodend Plains, into the Adelaide Bridge from there. So that's why we were unable to go to Defiance Bay from here. These are gold-plated NPCs, not going to talk to them. Oh, this is stealing. Don't want to steal anything.
Looks like Andra's gushing enough for both moons.
A looter?
Brave Southfield.
You're not getting... All right, then.
Sure, this is going to end well. Gathered around the soggy timbers of a ship wreckage, men and women picked through the driftwoods, snatching muddy silverware, moldy clothes, chipped pottery, and anything they can spot among the detritus. All eyes turn to you as you approach. The group trade nervous stares at you. Until at last, a woman in muddy clothes steps forward and speaks. "Where are Bretel and Terran?" she asks. "They were just up along the path and we heard fighting." Her eyes narrow, and a hand moves toward a knife on her belt as she anticipates your reply. I guess we just killed her 2 comrades up there. They attacked us. It was a matter of self-defense. You killed them! You see Hanwen's eyes tear up before she buries her face in her hands. The men and women around her take a step back, eyeing you cautiously. So a little humanization here of the looters. Hanwen looks up, wiping her eyes. "You speak of self-defense. Well, we are defending ourselves from this storm." Her voice rises, and her face grows flushed with emotion. "The floods took our entire farm. We have nothing left. Nothing. No food, no roof, and now I don't even have my cousins." She throws up her hands in despair. "We don't want to fight you. We've lost enough already. Please, just leave us." "I came here investigating some missing cargo. We mistook your cousins for looters." She blinks in disbelief. "Looting? But this is a wreck. What value does it have?" The men and women all turn to her, their faces frightened and worried. "Please, we need these supplies dearly. The storm took everything from us. It is not our desire to steal, but we are destitute. Should we let these wares just sink to the river bottom?" You are still stealing from Paragund. Regardless of your need, you are still stealing from Paragund. I wonder if that's the right choice here. "Perhaps you could tell the merchant you found nothing beyond bits of driftwood. From her point of view, it will be as if the river washed it all away. Besides, how much copper will she really make by selling these rotting clothes and soiled wares?" "I'll see what I can do. Thank you, she sighs, wiping sweat from her brow. You are the first turn of good fortune to come our way in a very long time. Hanwyn snaps her fingers at one of her comrades and points to a pile of supplies drying in the sun. We don't have much, but take this as a token of our thanks. Oh, so they just leave. Uh-oh. I was hoping I could go talk to Peregrine, find out a little more, and then maybe come back and talk to these people, but I guess not. The frayed end of the rope drifts in the river. Well, I have a feeling Peregrine will not be happy with us, but... Peregrine bounces on her feet at your approach. My helpful stranger returns. Have you managed to find anything yet? Even if all you found is driftwood, just knowing those looters got what they deserved would moisten my britches. I guess I'll say I picked through the wreckage, but I found nothing salvageable. It must have washed away. Peregrine kicks her foot into the dirt several times. I figured as much. Well, thank you for your assistance. I suppose I need to figure out how I'll recover my investment. At last, her foot stops kicking and she lets out a long sigh. Thank you for trying. If you find yourself in Defiance Bay, search out my shop. I'll need all the customers I can get. So I kind of lied to her there, but... I think that's the entire thing over here. Yep. Head back to Caed and take a little rest there. Should be done by the time we get there. Yep, Bright Hollow restoration construction completed. Nice. Which means before we go in there, yep, so we have this log of what's going on at our stronghold. This is, so I said I'm going to do the main keep next. I think that's what I want to do. 1400 CP, copper ponds, and 3 days. Just hit my mic, I'm sorry if that was a loud noise. So not perfect here, but it looks a little better. The sour odors of rancid grain and spoiled fruit permeate the air. Dust and rusted utensils cover the countertop. The new shelves smell rich and fresh with freshly cut timber. Cobwebs bind the remains of a broken alembic, a cracked mortar, and various shattered bottles and vials to the table. So I think all this stuff is more repairs we can make. Like we can repair this fountain, we can repair these other rooms here. I think that's the bet. Is there something there or no? The window on the other side of the curtain looks down on a tangled mess of overgrown hedges, which I think is another repair that we can make. The thick, woven werewolf feels soft and warm. Oh man, I was going to look up a word before. Can't remember what it was now. I think this is all just storage for me. Or for anybody who decides to stay here, because we can have guests at some point in the stronghold. The wilderness of the Deerwood rambles on beyond the house. Okay, so gonna take a rest here. We get no bonus, but there are different ways that we can upgrade Caed, the stronghold, so that we can start getting bonuses. But here, we don't need one. I am going to rest, though. Okay, gonna try to keep these videos less than an hour at this point, like 45 minutes to an hour, I think would be ideal. So going to stop this session here. We found out that the Madhmr Bridge was closed off to Defiance Bay. We inherited the Keep of Caed and spoke a lot with the steward, and we learned of the endless paths of Adnua down below this keep, which I'm sure at some point we will be exploring. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, as always, please comment with any kind of questions that you might have, anything you want me to look at, anything that I might have got wrong or didn't explain properly, or maybe I didn't go into enough detail. Yeah, let me know. I appreciate any kind of engagement with this video, and we will see you in session 7. Thank you so much.